Fun Pals! My name's Lorelei Alto. I'm a VTuber who streams on Twitch sometimes, and today I'm going to show you the redesign process for my own design. Alright, so step one, we're going to plan ahead. So I'm just going to grab my old reference sheets and model all together in one place. Even if they're a little outdated, I'm still going to include them. And while I'm looking at my references, I'm just going to make a list with two columns. One is the things I like about my design and I want to emphasize, and the things that I think might need to be updated in the next design. I'm probably going to speed up the process for you guys so you don't have to sit through all of this. So my favorite things about my model currently that I think are really working for me are my floppy ears. I can do this, which I think is very cute. I really like Buttons. Buttons is my frog. He is... Oh sorry, I messed up Photoshop. Buttons is my frog. He is a little toad that rides in my pocket, and let me show him off really quick. Yeah, now that I'm in the center of the screen, you can see he blinks when I blink, and he jiggles a little bit, especially when I do this. Yeah. Definitely not going to get rid of him, because obviously he is my best companion. I really like the mud and nature. I don't see a lot of VTubers quite as muddy as myself. I like that I have a sweater because I try to be very comfy with my streams, and sweaters are very comfy. I do like the elements of the cottagecore aesthetic that I have tied into my model. I like how expressive my model is. I like my big glasses. I think they're very charming, and I like my hairstyle. I don't see lots of VTubers with my same hairstyle. The things that I could probably improve upon my design are, I'm not a huge fan of the solid black sweater. I am a very light-hearted, positive, optimistic person, and I think the solid black just doesn't convey that. The silver cross also kind of makes me look punk. That's not really what I'm going for. I want to choose a different kind of sweater. Another thing that I think I could improve upon my current design is that it's very simple and safe. And the reason it's very simple and safe is because I had never done Live 2D before, and I didn't know what was going to be difficult or easy. So I decided to design on the very simple and safe side, just in case having extra details would make my rigging process harder. But now that I am experienced with Live 2D and I know what is hard and what isn't, I can finally design with Live 2D in mind. Another thing that can be improved is Buttons placement. Now, I love Buttons to death, and he will always be a part of my designs, but currently, when I'm streaming with my drawing pad, you can't see Buttons. You can't see him unless I step away from the drawing pad. And so I'm going to play around with putting him on my shoulder or on my head, because that's the parts of my design that you usually see the most. The next thing I really want to fix is that my model is not symmetrical. I decided to draw each leg individually. If I wanted to, for instance, rig it so that I could bend my knees, that's not currently possible because one of my knees is pointing this way and one is pointing directly at the camera. So I cannot rig them to be on the same parameter that easily. And you can just see generally that not everything's completely symmetrical. My face isn't completely symmetrical. This is because I didn't use the symmetry tool. What I do is I draw something and copy paste it over to the other side. And then the last thing I want to improve upon my design is I don't feel like I look like a mythical creature. Besides the ears and the cute leaves, I look pretty much like any other human girl would, and I want to push my design further. I want to be recognized as a nature nymph from a glance, because most of my nature elements are in my lower half, but I want them to be throughout. So those are the things that I want to focus on in this redesign. This is very important to do before you start the design process, because you want to have some direction in your designs and a common goal so that you don't end up having to redesign only a couple months after you have completed this one. So for step 2, I'm going to trace over my model so that I can have a dress-up doll of sorts for the concept. One that I can just copy-paste over and over and try different ideas on. So let's go through that. I'm going to speed up the process so you don't have to sit through it with me. Alright, so now we have a base to work off of, so my next step is to use it like a dress-up doll. Pinterest can be a really helpful tool to find inspiration for what outfits you might want to try in your design. So scrolling down mine, you can see that I do really like the overalls idea, but I do have some things that deviate from that idea. So I'm gonna try a couple of these and, just tweak my design and kind of see what sticks. I didn't experiment enough with my initial design. I was just like, this looks cool. And I didn't really think about how does this pertain to my personality and what kind of streamer I am. And this time I'm thinking a lot more about, okay, this is how it's gonna look in Live 2D. This is how I want to present myself. So I'm just taking references from Pinterest here and dropping them in. Now that I have my references, I'm just going to experiment with this initial concept, and if there's some things I don't like about it, I can always switch gears. Useful thing I can probably utilize here is actually using the symmetry tool. But you have to drop it in the right place. Yes, that's exactly center. Okay, now we can get back to it. Okay, so kind of more or less finished my first concept here. Looking back at our checklist, the things I wanted to change were buttons placement and that it was simple and safe. And so I'm checking to see if this hairstyle works, because buttons placement on my head would be pretty darn cool, but that also means that not only is my poofy bangs gone, but also my leaves. So I'm going to have to find a new way to incorporate those if I go with this hairstyle. I also really like these octagonal glasses, because many VTubers sport these very adorable solid black round glasses. but I kind of want to differentiate myself from the crowd, so having octagonal glasses might be a nice change. Not so sure about these shorts, they don't look very outdoorsy, but this sweater is very interesting. So let's try another design choice. I kind of want to try overalls this time. Okay, so I'm back after doing a few designs. After kind of viewing all of these and thinking about them, I think the middle has the most potential, but there's aspects of each that I kind of want to incorporate into my next draft, such as the glasses from the first one, the buttons up here, and this blouse I think would be a good underneath to this sweater. I like these shoes the best. This hairstyle is one I might go with. Reason being, I can't really wear anything on my head besides my wonderful leaves right now. If I put a flower crown on right now, all of my front hairs would get in the way, and I would not be able to let buttons rest on my head like so. So my next step here is going to be to refine my ideas. I'm going to take this middle one, but I'm also going to take aspects from these other designs, such as the shoes and the glasses and the buttons from here, the blouse from here. I do want to keep these leaves as a toggle. A toggle just means I can put it on and take it off at will using hotkeys. Now this is going to be our final rough draft, yeah. Out of all these ideas, I'm going to distill what I liked about them most all into one design. Okay, so I have more or less completed the rough draft of my new design. This frog here, these glasses, and this flower crown will all be toggles, meaning you can take them on and off, as well as this sweater. Now later on I'll show you how to do that in live 2D when I get there. Things I still need to decide are whether to have a barefoot toggle. All depends if I want to draw toes or not, I suppose, and the color of the overalls. Now this is just about the end of part 1. In part 2 we will further refine this, add a lot more little details to make it look like a more completed design, and possibly complete the character turnaround. I don't know, we'll see. Here, I'll show off the design closer up. So we have shoes or no shoes, rolled up overalls, sweater or no sweater. Then we have potentially some cross earrings, long hair, ponytail, glasses that can come on and off, buttons that can come on and off, and a flower crown that can also come on and off. So thank you everyone for watching. Stay tuned for part 2. And I'll see you all in the next video. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.